All right. Patrick Royce. So did you know that Chris Archer, the most recent Twins free agent signing, that Chris Archer was actually at the center of the birth of reckless speculation on the Mackey and
Really?
Judge show? Yeah.
All right. When
Reckless
was that?
reckless speculation as a brand, if you will.
Yeah, sure it is. And it is a brand.
It is a brand. So it started, Judd. It was probably like, I think he was still with the Rays. So this is like
He was.
2000. This is like 4 or 5 years ago, and yeah, it was a slow day. And I think it was during the summer sometime, and we got 4 hours to do. We had
Yes,
16
right.
segments to kill,
Yes.
and we said, you know. Miguel Sano is kind of disappointing.
Yes.
He's overweight all the time.
Strikes
The
out too much.
Yeah, the Twins need pitching, and the Rays aren't going to re-sign Chris Archer. He's got a couple years left on his contract. Should the Twins call the Rays and offer Miguel Sano for Chris Archer? And it turned into like a full show with phone calls, just a hypothetical trade.
And
But
were
they
the,
finally got him.
Were the fans endorsing the idea? Were they down enough on Sano to endorse the idea or not?
Most people, and this is still the case when we float random trades, but most people were like, "Why? What is this being reported? No, we're just no, we're just spitballing here. We're just floating stuff."
I think he's an example of why teams don't want to pitch young guys 200 innings, and he just broke down. He was one of the best young pitchers in ball for about 3 years. And
Yeah,
then,
I mean, yeah, for sure.
I don't think he's been good since 17, maybe 18.
Yeah, I mean, he was 17, 18, he was passable, but the last time he was dominant was probably 2015, 16.
The guy from Pittsburgh that traded for him, he got fired, right? Huntington, wasn't that?
Yeah, I
Huntington?
think they-
Have you seen that trade? That's
Yeah.
why he got
Although-
fired. Meadows,
Glass now is out, so he hasn't
Right.
played since middle of last summer. But it wasn't looking good when Tyler Glasnow was on his way to becoming the American League All-Star Game starter
Yeah.
last year.
I guess as we sit here sometimes and pound the table saying trade prospects for established players, that would be the cautionary
Yes.
tale, what
Yes.
the Pirates did.
Well, that would be absolutely true, and they can't help themselves. They're addicted to this, right? The reclamation project. They no matter how the question becomes, will they get more out of him than they got out of Homer Bailey? That's the problem. I think Homer pitched once, right?
It's a fairly low bar.
Although Homer had pitched like 10 games the year before, unlike Archer. But this is a pretty desperate act. And they went to one of those tryout things and saw him, and he supposedly has been pitching and the whole deal. But they're obviously decided that whatever Oakland wants for those two guys, either one of them, they're not going to pay it. So I think they're going to start this way now. I found out my guy Winder, they won't let him be on the big league club not to start the season anyway. So it's going to be. They're hoping for a fifth, but I can't believe that they can expect that Archer will be on the team in when the season starts, April 7th. I can't believe that they think he's going to be in the rotation then. So we'll see.
So
But
he's coming off both Tommy John surgery 2 years ago. That's why he missed 2020, and then he was shut down late last year with some sort of hip injury.
They're going to have 15 pitchers, though, when the season starts. So, all of us lovers of bullpen games or openers or whatever they are, we're gonna get a full. But who's going to start? Doesn't make any difference. They're going to start Sonny Gray and hope he goes 3.
Yes.
They're gonna start Ryan and Ober and hope they go 4, and they're going to start Bundy and hope he goes 3, and then the 12 guys in the bullpen will be coming in. So that's the way baseball is going to be the first month of the season. The all new season, which we got to get the game moving. We're going to come fighting back with 14 pitchers a game from the two teams. So good luck, folks.
Opening day, 356, I bet.
I picked yesterday 13 pitchers in 402. I got
Okay.
Oh, so you got the over.
I've
Pat's
got the under.
over.
I got it at
the over.
402. The over and under should be 355. 352, maybe
Yeah.
352, right?
Somewhere in there.
Because
By
if
the
you win, then you don't have to bat in the bottom of the ninth, and I don't know
True.
if they will. So
Yeah, that's true.
knows if they will.
By the way, do you guys remember a couple years ago? I think it was when Marcus Stroman was on the block, like 2 or
Yes.
3 years ago, and someone from the Twins front office, Thad or Derek, like there was a report that said, I mean, the Blue Jays wouldn't call the Twins back. So I mean, the Twins had interest, but they wouldn't return the Twins phone calls. There's a report today in the Athletic that the Twins have been pretty aggressively pursuing the two A's pitchers, Minaya and Montas, but that the A's have not engaged in a while.
Huh.
So we're getting. I don't know if we need to find a different way of communication. Like,
Carrier pigeon.
yeah,
Was Billy Bean playing golf or what the hell?
I don't, they haven't engaged in a while. Like, are you? What are you offering? I mean, if,
Yeah, well, that's his. Doogie's got to be very jealous of that scoop.
He actually had it on a scoop session that's being posted right now that people
Okay.
can listen to.
Okay, that's very good. So speaking of pitching, Lewis Thorpe cleared a 26-year-old lefty cleared waivers to make room for Chris Archer, and Phil, you were down there when he was in spring training as a youth, and blew out his. He was. I saw him at 18, maybe. Man, they were all in on him, and I saw him throw a couple of times. Nice, easy heat, great breaking ball, a couple of breaking balls, change up even then. And just, you could watch him pitch and say he knew what he was going to do. He knew he was a very confident guy. And I thought, and they were beyond, they thought he'd be in the big leagues at age 20. They loved him. Australian kid, and they signed him at 16. Well, he had Tommy John, and he spent the next 3 years in Fort Myers, and he created some relationships that were not the best, from what I understand. And he got completely off the tracks, and he's pitched some in the big leagues since then. But every time you see him pitch, you think he knows he's in trouble, right? He won't throw strikes, and I think there's almost a movie in this kid, what his background is. A couple of years ago in spring training, was it 2 years ago or 3 years ago that they sent him off to.
He started going. He went on social media, and
he was gone for 3 weeks, and the rumor was alcoholism treatment or whatever it was, and some kind of treatment, and he looked awful that spring. He was all like skinny and hollowed out, and it's just it's a sad story, because he really had a lot in front of him, and he really he's from Australia, his family and everybody's down there. He didn't see his family for like 2 years. He was in Fort Myers hanging out with whoever he was hanging out with, but there were it's one of those baseball stories that can't miss. And especially with pitchers, obviously with pitchers, the can't miss pitchers are, there's a whole junkyard of these guys over there.
That's also the thing when you're dealing with these magic arms, but you're also dealing with 17 to 21-year-old kids that are just wild cards as maturity and personality, everything.
Doesn't it seem like there's a little less Tommy John going on? Are they doing something? It does seem like, we haven't this spring. Have we lost? Usually in the spring, you lose 5 or 6 prominent guys. Yeah. I haven't heard much of it this spring. I don't know if what they're doing with them. Maybe because they haven't been pitching more than 2 innings. But it's so easy to look back and say, why didn't they? There's a kid they should have traded when he was 18. They could have gotten somebody good for him. So the odds of pitchers actually making it, or the good top prospect pitchers actually making it, what is it, 25%?
Oh man, yeah. I mean, it would be fun to go through like the 2011 first round and just look at pitchers. How many of them didn't even make it?
Yeah. It's the high school pitchers. By the way, I was watching somehow I was flipping channels, and I had an Alabama, I think it was Alabama, Mississippi State baseball game. And they went out to talk to the pitcher in like the 7th inning. And the guy said, this is March, right? This is March. The season this is the first weekend of SEC baseball.
Yeah.
Well, Will, or whatever his name is, throwing 99 pitches. He's throwing 99, and they're leaving him out there. They want to go out and talk. College
Those coaches don't give a rip.
They do not.
I like the SEC.
Yeah, just he's throwing 99, and it's he's got another 14 weekends of starts to make, but we can't. This is a very important SEC opener.
Rocco flew down and took the kid out himself.
Yes, he was.
He caught a plane.
If Rocco was watching on TV, he was screaming at them.
You got to get him out. You should have got him out ages ago.
I told you guys this. One of my favorite moments is 40 years ago during the baseball strike in '81. I go down to Wisconsin Rapids to see Jim Eisenreich. I'm going to do a piece on Jim Eisenreich, and my two kids came with me, and we're sitting in the stands, and George Brophy's there, the minor league director, general manager, and Ken Staples, who I had in St. Cloud when I was there, is the manager, and he's got a left-handed kid named Tony Guerrero, who was a prospect. 140 pitches, and Brophy's screaming from the stands. Kenny had to win that damn game against Kenosha or whoever it was, man. It was unbelievable. I think that was Kenny's last year. And the next time I saw Kenny, he was on the grounds crew down at Fort Myers. So.
Amazing.
Some of them are crazy. I know, I know people get all upset about pitch counts, but there's a lot of reason when they're 20 years old not to abuse them too hard. So.
Pat Page last night, UConn double OT over NC State, the 14th straight Final Four.
14th straight Final Four. The first time they ever won it was here, 95.
Yeah.
And they beat Stanford in the semis 87-60. They have them again. Stanford was awful. I think they were the favorite. And Dennis was here too. Pat Summitt was still the coach, and that was UConn's first title. But they had Lobo and Walters. I mean, they were what's her name, Rizzotti. The great. They were great. And Gino, like all of us, has aged since I saw him in '95. That's for sure. He can't tuck in his. That's a sure shine. You're fat, right? When you can't tuck in your shirt.
He's got the good hair still.
He's
still got the good hair. It's grayer, but it's still good hair.
He's got the good hair, and he's got the best players in college basketball. He's generally speaking, UConn would finish 7th in the WNBA if he just took his team there. And in fact, I've always said that the last 5 years, the WNBA All-Stars should be UConn versus all the other teams, right? That the UConn players who are in the WNBA should take on the.
I like it.
It used to be like the Stanley Cup champions would take on the rest of the teams in the All-Star game.
Yeah, they
should just have UConn take on the rest of them. But God, she was good last night. It was fantastic. She just, I said this on Twitter, and I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but when she's got the ball, she's got that little slope shoulders things that you see the great point guards, and she just kind of, and that she sees everything that's out there and knows exactly the play to make, and her shooting has gotten better than it was in high school.
It's pretty smooth now. It looks pretty.
You know what else? She isn't afraid of the 17-foot jumper.
Yeah.
If it's going to go in, she'll take two.
It's coming back.
I think
it's coming back. I mean, teams are so aggressively defending the perimeter. You just dribble 2 steps in, you get a wide open shot.
Especially in the college game, I think. Don't you think? Even more so than the pro game. You are seeing the mid-range jumper, which of course was I always loved that.
Chris Paul never let it go. By the way, Chris Paul stuck with it all the way through.
Sammy Cassell, man.
Yep.
Pull up
back then,
on the break, and the best the Gophers ever had was Mark Hall and. On the 82 championship team, who they ended up they ended up throwing out of school because he was using phones. If there'd been cell phones, he would have been fine. But back then we had we were such idiots. But he was the greatest on the pull-up jumper on the break, man. That 15-footer was sweet. But hey, Paige I've seen her a few times. That's the best I've ever seen her. Yeah. She was just amazing, and taking the drama out of free throws in the clutch too. I mean, when's the last time we saw somebody go up there and make 6 or 8 instead of going, oh, it went in or out there?
That game was so much fun too. I'm hard pressed to believe that there has been a men's game in the tournament that tops that game.
Yeah.
How about the 3-pointer the kid from North Carolina State threw in?
Yeah.
Beckers was coming after her, and she threw this big old balloon up in the air and whoosh. Yeah, it was great. It was a hell of a game, and it's hard to be rooting. It's very difficult to root for UConn, though. But you like the kid. She's from here, and poor mom. She couldn't have any emotions. They had a camera right in front of her, waiting for mom to have the emotion. So
yeah. Hey, we do have. It's pretty rare that news breaks during Rapping with Royce here, but we do have some. We have some breaking golf news.
I think I know what it is.
A prominent plane has landed at Augusta National.
Oh boy!
To further evaluate body and game. Tiger Woods is on the grounds at Augusta National.
He's thinking about playing.
He's going to test things out, see if the legs
he is.
Attached,
he's
the
still,
back.
Yeah.
Is he entered?
So he's been entered, and he has not withdrawn yet. So he's always been entered because he's Tiger Woods.
I would have been, but I think you have to have a certain day by which you say you're going to play, right?
So but I think I saw yesterday he is entered. He is on the list right now.
In the Masters, it's not like there's some replacement waiting for you, though. They just if one of their invitees or one of their qualifiers doesn't show, they don't replace him because it's a limited field event. So.
Bad news for Ricky Fowler then. I don't think he's.
Oh, come on!
I love Ricky Fowler, man. I don't know what happened there.
What happened? They throw.
He's like 160th in the world or something.
Yeah, he's fallen off.
He didn't even play. Well, I'd have to go look at the Masters.
That damn pole vaulter ruined her.
I know.
Ruined him. She did, and it could
might have been worth it.
People too, man.
Might have been worth it, Pat. That's all I got to say. Might have been worth it.
Yes, it would. Yes,
you have $50 million in the bank and a pole.
Yeah, you're rich.
I came home from the Australian Olympics after seeing women's pole vaulting. There was a Australian chick named Gregor Arabia, and there was an Icelandic gal, and it was an amazing event, and there was this Icelandic gal was the first ever medalist from Iceland in the Summer Games, and I think she finished third, and we had a couple of good pole vaulters too. And I came home, and Joe and I were going to start the World Women's Pole Vaulting Association. We were going to have we were going to promote this league. It was going to be the world's women pole vaulting.
Coming to Met Center
live on AM 1500.
1500. Yeah.
Yes. That basketball, she was great.
Hey, I got to ask you here.
Chip was there, by the way. Chip was covering it for us. So.
Are you, Declan and I are on the Scotty Scheffler bandwagon here?
Wow.
Are you, actually, I don't know if Declan
I
is,
am.
but I'm adding you to it.
Okay.
Are you a Scotty Scheffler is now number one in the world.
Well, he had not won a tournament till what, 6 weeks ago?
Yes, he's now made $8 million in a month and a half.
Now he's won 3, and he's out there playing Dustin Johnson and whoever it is, and they got no chance. They have no chance in the match play. Hell yes, I'm on it. You know, they always talked about what a great college player he was, and he was going to break through. And boy, once he won, you know, that old cliche about once you win, I guess in his case, that's certainly true, because he's got to be the favorite the way he's playing. And DJ don't give a damn. So, he DJ'd.
He's got Wayne Gretzky as his father-in-law. Why should he care about it?
It's got to be tough when you've put $100 million in the bank and you're like, almost 40.
I'm so excited, man.
At least. He's
So excited
So
to
excited
play
to
the
do it.
Masters in Augusta. It's
He's
just my favorite
unbelievable.
tournament.
I gotta think the wife goes over there every once in a while. Just wake up, get up,
Yeah, are you
come, get
alive?
moving.
Paulina, yeah, and guess what? He says thank you.
Cold water in the
Jesus.
Hit me again.
Oh,
throws,
thanks, honey. Hit me
throws
with another.
cold water in his
Oh.
face when he's sleeping. Hits him with ice. He's just wake up. You're the most talented
No,
golfer.
Paulina
who's
don't
ever
Pat.
lived
Paulina
in-
don't care. That I guarantee you that house is a freak show.
How many kids they got?
I
Yeah,
don't even
bunch,
know.
right?
I
don't
hope
know.
not many.
Of course, I think they probably can afford a nanny, so they don't have to.
I think they're fine. Yeah, I think they're doing fine.
Don't start with the
I
Danny.
love
There's
him.
more
I
there.
love him, but God, he's with that much talent to have these periods of indifference drives me crazy.
Periods of indifference. That's a great way to
Yeah.
describe Dustin
Yeah.
Johnson. Yep.
Cam Smith, Pat. That's my guy. I like Cam Smith. 2 top
can
10
play.
finishes at the Masters the last 2 years. I like Cam Smith.
He's an Aussie, right?
Yeah.
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 Well, yeah, I miss. That's one event I miss. I covered it for 18, 19 years, so it was great. So
Maybe the four of us can eat some pimento cheese sandwiches next week.
Ooh,
on
yeah, but
Wednesday.
you got to let them sit out in the sun for about 8 hours and let
sounds-
the red part of the. You got to let the that the pimento's got that little red peppery thing in it, and it kind of turns the bread red. That's when they're really good at Augusta. About 5:30 in the afternoon when they've been sitting there for several hours.
They sit there too long, and that
Give me
sounds
one
like
of them
a bad night.
pimento. These old rednecks run up there. Give me a couple of them pimentos. Hey, buddy, it's bleeding.
Good God.
All right.
$2. I think the pimentos are $1. Their chicken sandwich is like $2. That's their high priced one.
That's the
they
gourmet
keep the
option.
concession prices low. And they
genius.
sell beer for like $2, but it's a cup of, it's just a 8-ounce cup, 10-ounce
Yeah,
cup.
they're encouraging responsible drinking. They don't want people to be guzzling, too much beer. You got to keep it under control.
Well, Tiger, the Augusta guys are jumping around the clubhouse. Tiger's on the grounds, man. How's that for
He's gonna
CBS?
shoot.
TV
He will withdraw. He
I
will
thought you were playing the
withdraw.
Masters music. Hello, friends.
If he's on the verge of an 83, he will withdraw.
Yeah.
He'll have the bad back, but I don't know if he'll play either. Do you?
I think he's gonna try.
He
I
might be there
legitimately
for
think
the
he's-
dinner too.
So he's been playing a bunch of secret practice rounds. Somebody took a video of him, like a covert video of him last week. So we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Hey, but I think the dinner's tonight too, so he might have flown. He might be flying in for that too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got to show the respect of the defending champ and
Yes.
go to the dinner. So.
All right. We'll
All
catch
right,
you
Ken.
tomorrow, Pat.
See ya.
See you. Goodbye.
All right. Let's wrap in with Racy here. Mackie and Judd Scorner at the YouTube channel.